You groaned and slowly opened your eyes. Blinking twice to adjust to the brightness, you looked around in daze. Your head was throbbing and throat was extremely dry. Water, you whispered. Your voice came out dry and hoarse. You tried to move your hands only to find them tied up behind your back. Your back was hurting because of sitting in the same position for long. Your muscles tensed, body numb, and your bladder was full. You wanted to pee urgently. Your gaze roamed around, noticing your surroundings. It was a dark and what seemed like an abandoned building. It was extremely cold, devoid of human presence. The sound of footsteps echoed through the empty surroundings, giving away a horrible, creepy feeling. You looked towards the source of sound and saw it also hurting, coming in the light from the darkness. You found an unknown man smirking down at you. You had never met him, but somewhat he seemed familiar. Who are you? Your voice came out as a mere whisper. He chuckled and it crept you out from inside. Your stomach twisted in a bad way. You gulped as he bent down to your face level. Your fearful gaze met his psychotic one and a shiver ran down your spine. Can't blame my brother. You are one beautiful woman. Anyone would want you to warm his bed. He traced his index finger along your jawline. Your face twisted with disgust. Your skin burnt wherever he had touched you. What do you want from me? I don't even know you. You stammered. The corner of his lips twisted in a nasty smirk. He inched towards your face, which made you lean back as a reflex. His breath fell on your nose. He reeked of alcohol. Your insides churned badly as the sheer desire to throw up arose within. I am Jake, John's brother. You frowned. You didn't know anyone named John. Then why were you there? Why would he kidnap some stranger? But I don't know any John. You reasoned and scratched your nose when he laughed on your face. Naive and beautiful. What an amazing combination. My plan was to kill you, but I changed my mind. I want to keep you all by myself. He dropped his eyes from your eyes to your lips and down to your breast. You pulled your leg together, feeling uncomfortable under his lurid gaze. Though you were fully dressed, yet his gaze made you feel naked. John, you remember the person in the party who touched you? Your eyes widened, remembering the person. All the horrible memories of that night flooded back in your mind. Your body trembled. Chin quivered as a lone tear escaped your eyes. Oh, no, no, sweetheart, don't cry. You flinched when he wiped the tear that rolled down your cheek. His finger felt rough against your soft skin. I haven't done anything and you already started crying. What would happen when I would actually do things with you? He tilted his head, looking at you in amusement. You won't be able to do anything. My husband will find me. My Jimin will come to save me. You can't fight against him. You yelled and twisted your hair. His grip was painfully tight. His eyes were boring holes in you. His jaw clenched. Soft cry escaped your lips when he tugged at your hair. More tears rolled down your cheek. What did you say? I can't fight against your husband. I, Jake, can't fight against that bastard. Jimin, why do you think I had kidnapped you? I want him to come here so that I can avenge my brother's death. I will kill your husband in front of your eyes. I will make him beg on his knees. As you sweetheart, I'll keep you as my toy. I'll play with your little body until I get bored. Then, he whistled and pointed above. I'll send to your husband. Have your happily ever after in hell. He let out an evil laugh and left your hair with a jerk. You straightened up and looked around. I'm bored. What should I do? Let's play a game. You shook your head. Face was full of tears. Deep inside, you were continuously praying for Jimin to come and save you from this monster. I didn't ask you. He glared at you. He walked in the corner and came back with a whip in his hand. Entertain me. Sing a song, sweetheart. If your voice breaks, you'll get a hit. No, please, please don't do this. He untied your hands and made you stand up. Dragging you at one corner, he raised your hands and tied your hands to a hook above. Your pleadings left unheard. Sing. No plea. A loud yelp escaped your lips when the whip touched your back. Your skin burned. Your body asked due to pain. Sing if you don't want a hit. Started humming a random song, trying your best to stable your voice. But even after umpteenth attempts of stabilizing your voice, you failed to do so and ended up getting hit every time and again. The whole building echoed with your painful screams and they disappeared in the air. Hit after hit, he continued winding the whip on your back until his energy drained out. Your back was full of blood. You were hanging through the rope. Your body was numb and it was getting hard for you to keep your eyes open. You were at the verge of slipping into the pit of darkness when your eyes snapped open, hearing noises from outside. Your heartbeat accelerated. You felt a different energy rushing through your veins as each fiber of your body felt him near. You knew he would come. You tugged at the ropes and straightened up. All the fears and doubts were pushed at the back of your head, and you glared at Jake with rage-filled eyes. He is here. Get ready to witness the hell. He winded back his hand and the whip touched your back with the full force. But this time, neither any sound escaped your lips nor you tore your gaze away from his face. The sudden determination on your face shocked him. Let him come. This is his last day on earth. Chuckled in the same dry and creepy tone like he did. Let's see. As you finished your sentence, a loud gunshot was heard and the ropes around your wrist loosened. As the support loosened, you fell on the ground, unable to hold any longer. The door of the building floor kicked open, and several men dressed in all black surrounded the area, pointing their guns at Jake. Jake acted quickly and pulled out his gun, pointing at your head. You could care less at that time. Your eyes were stuck at the entrance. Your hazelnut hopes were longing for the sight of your husband. A sigh escaped your lips, and a small smile curved on your face when he walked inside, carrying the bold aurora which was enough for people to beat their pants. His hand held the loaded gun, as if it knew its target. Jackson following closely behind. Take one step ahead and I'll empty all the bullets in her skull. You resisted the urge to laugh because of how scared he sounded at the moment. Jimin halted midway when his eyes met yours. The cold look from earlier was replaced by softness. The hurt and vulnerability was clearly visible. He looked at you from top to bottom. He watched as a muscle in his jaw ticked and his eyes flickered with anger. He lifted his hand, pointing the gun directly at Jake's head. One wrong move and the bullet will be pierced through his skull. You didn't play fair by involving my woman in between our war. You have to pay for every drop of blood oozed out of her body. Jake moved and made you stand up by grabbing your hair. You heard the clicking sound as the men loaded their guns and awaited their boss order. You can do anything until she is under my mercy. He pointed his gun at your forehead. You were not scared as you were confident Jimin will save you. His presence was enough to provide you relief. Jimin's eyes moved from Jake to you. You smiled, blinking your eyes in assurance. He smiled and nodded. Getting a green signal from Jimin, you hit his stomach with your elbow, which made his grip loosen. Moving out of his grip, you landed a hard kick on his groin before running towards Jimin. He welcomed you with open arms and engulfed you in his embrace. His men surrounded Jake, pointing their guns at his head. You okay, princess? Now that you are here, I'm more than okay. You said and inhaled his scent, which gave away a homely feeling. Take him to our basement. I'll deal with him later. He ordered the man who nodded and held Jake. Let's go to the hospital. You need treatment, he said while you shook your head, snuggling into him more and more. I don't want to be. Your words stuck inside your throat when you saw Jake snatching a gun from the guards and fired towards Jimin. You twirled around in his embrace and felt a piercing pain at your waist. All of this happened in a wink that no one got the time to react about anything. Jackson stood in the between and emptied the bullets inside Jake's head. His lifeless body fell with a thud. Jimin froze on his spot, holding you in his embrace. The pained expression on your face clenched his hurt. He brought your shivering right hand, which was tightly clutching something since forever. You opened your hands in front of him, revealing a pregnancy test stick. Jimin looked at the white stick in your hand, then at you. Save our baby, Jimin, you whispered before you lost your consciousness and fell limp in his arms. Jimin held you and kept staring at your unconscious face, too shocked to react or do something. Hyung, take her to the hospital. Jackson's voice faded in the background. Sat on the floor holding your unconscious frame in his arms. Hyung, Hyung. Jackson vigorously shook his shoulder, making him aware of his surroundings. Come on, let's take her to the hospital. I'm bringing the car, he said and ran outside. Jimin nodded and put the pregnancy stick inside his pocket before running outside carrying you in his arms. Open your eyes, princess. See, I'm here, whispered but got no response. Fine, princess, open your eyes, please. He reiterated the same sentence he had been uttering through the whole journey to hospital. Help, it's an emergency. Jackson yelled through the corridor. The hospital staff stunned, seeing Jimin running inside. Two ward boys rushed towards them with stretcher. Jimin laid your unconscious body down on the bed and held your hand. The ward boys pushed a stretcher towards the emergency room. Jimin followed, his hand clasping yours and his eyes stuck at your pale face. He was about to enter inside the room, but the doctor stopped him. Mr. Park, you can't go inside. Wait here. Why can't I? My wife needs me. He gritted out, being stubborn. The doctors helplessly looked at Jackson. Young, let them do their work. Why needs urgent treatment, please? Jimin glanced at Jackson before looking at the doctor with murderous eyes. He held the doctor's collar and jerked him. Listen here, you doctor. If anything happened to my wife, you can't even imagine what I'll do to you. Your life lies with my wife's lifeline. He threatened and left his collar. The doctor shivered in fear and disappeared inside the emergency room. Jimin stepped back and slumped down on the bench. He reached out for his pocket and pulled out the pregnancy test kit. His eyes turned glossy, seeing two positive lines on it. Unable to handle the overwhelming feelings that crept inside him, he burst into tears. His heart was aching with mixed feelings. He didn't know what to feel. Should he be happy with the good news, or should he be worried for his wife who was inside the hospital room? Hugh, get a grip on yourself. He sat beside him and squeezed his shoulder. German sniffed and looked at him. My princess, my baby, how? Stammered on his words. The pain in his chest was getting unbearable with each passing second. They will be fine. Everything will be fine. He hesitantly pulled him in a hug. Jimin didn't protest. He needed someone at that weak moment. After what felt like an eternity, the doctor came outside. Jimin and Jackson stood before him. How's my wife and my child? The doctor was still scared from the earlier encounter, and his towering frame stirred his insides. He gulped and wiped the sweat from his forehead. Your wife is fine. The bullet grazed her waist side. Thankfully, there is no harm to the baby. But you need to take care of her diet and mental health. She had been starving herself. That's the reason she fainted. Relief washed over him hearing the doctor. Can I meet her? The doctor nodded and went away from there. Young, I'll go and take care of the mess. Jimmy looked at him and smiled, feeling lucky to have him by his side. Thank you. Jackson snapped his head towards him, gaping at him with mouth hanging and wide eyes. Young, just shoot me. Don't give me heart attack. I am sensitive to pain, he said dramatically. His call took over Jimin's face. He twisted his hand, all set to give him a blue eye, but he fled away from there. Jimin shook his head and entered inside the room. His gaze traveled to your unconscious figure. His heart clenched seeing your pale face. The natural pinkish glow on your face was gone. Your chubby cheeks had shrunken inside. Your cheekbone was prominently visible. Your soft lips were dry and chapped. You were looking slimmer than the last time he saw you. He slowly walked over to the bed and settled down on the stool beside your side. He held your hand. It felt cold against his warm skin. He placed a long pack on the back of your hand and looked at your face. Princess, he whispered and bent down to place a pack on her forehead. I'm going to feed you a lot of food once you will wake up. I'd like to pinch your soft cheek. I want my healthy wife back. You don't worry. I'll work out extra hours to pick you up if you gain some extra kilos. Chuckled at his childishness. You rest here. I'll come back after some time. As he got up to leave, the grip on his hand tightened. He looked back to find you awake. Leaving again? You whispered as a tear rolled down from the corner of your eyes. Again? I didn't leave you. You were the one who wanted to go away from me. I was helpless. He replied. You tugged on his hand, pulling him to sit on the bed beside you. Help me. You mumbled as you tried to sit up. He held your shoulder and pushed you back, but one glare from you and he sighed helplessly before helping you to straighten up. He adjusted a pillow behind your back. You idiot! He flinched when you punched his chest. Punch after punch, you hit him until you got tired, whilst he kept looking at you in shock and confusion. You, I hate you. I hate you so much. I hate. The words muffled in your mouth when he pressed his lips against yours. You closed your eyes, your hands twisted his shirt. More tears rolled down from the corner of your eyes. You missed this. You missed him, his presence, his warmth. You missed a part of your heart. He pulled back when he felt you going breathless. Cradling your face between his hands, he wiped your tears and kissed your forehead. Slap me, kick me, or kill me. But please don't say you hate me. I can endure anything, not this. You sniffed and held his collar, yanking him down to your face level until his nose touched yours. When I wanted to leave you willingly, you tied me up to your bed. But when you actually had to stop me from leaving, you said like a mannequin. You wanted to leave, you were crying, you. So what? I was angry, I was devastated. I wasn't in the right state of my mind. You pressed your forehead against his, staring directly at his eyes. I would have stayed if you asked me to stay one last time. I would have run back to you if you said, Love you, Ryan, don't leave me. His lips twisted into a small smile. He sighed against your lips and closed his eyes. Love you, princess, don't leave me. I won't. I won't leave you even if you want. I will haunt you throughout your life. A throaty chuckle vibrated through your chest. You smiled and pulled back. Your smile disappeared the next moment when you remembered something. Jimin, baby or baby? You panicked, placing your hands on your stomach. She is fine. Your panic expression changed into relief on hearing him. She? We don't know the gender of baby yet. My fatherly instinct say she is she. I mean the baby is a baby girl. Smile. You scrunched your nose in dismay. No, he is he. It's a boy. Sure. He chuckled, putting the baseless argument to an end. Jimin, he straightened up when your expression suddenly turned serious. I won't go back until you promise me something. He nodded, gesturing you to speak further. Promise me you will leave the mafia work. I'm scared, Jimin. I'm scared for our child. You have plenty of enemies. I don't want anything happen to him or her. Okay. He smiled, agreeing without a second thought. We'll go away from here. Somewhere where we will lead a normal life, like a normal family. You, me, and our baby. No weapons, no enemies, nothing but a peaceful life. I will earn like the man of family does. Promise I'll keep you and our little one happy. Packed your lips. You smiled and hugged him. Love you, princess. I love you so, so much. Planted a kiss on your hair. You heaved out a sigh and packed his temple. I love you more, Jimin. You felt a heavy weight lifting off your head as you voiced out your feelings. Young, are you really leaving? Take me with you. I can't handle this alone. He sobbed like a 2-year-old while Jimin rolled his eyes, pulled out his royal gun, the gun which he had since he became the Mafia King, and placed it on Jackson's hand. I'm giving you a big responsibility. Don't disappoint me, which you are already doing by crying like a toddler. He made a disgusted face when Jackson blew his nose in a tissue. You can come to meet me anytime you want, but don't think about shifting with me. I'm married and in desperate need of privacy. Besides, we need time to adjust in a new environment. Jackson wiped his face and nodded with a small smile. You sound domestic. I can't believe you're going to be father. I'm going to cry again. Jimmy shook his head in disbelief. The person who had his hands painted in blood was crying over every little thing. He must have loved him dearly. I'm leaving. He hugged Jackson and patted his back like an elder brother. He was beside him since childhood. No matter how adversely he behaved with him, he never left his side. Jimin walked out of the mansion and smiled, saying, You were looking at the house where your story started. It held upbeat, bittersweet memories. Smile when your eyes met his. Took you quite long. Jackson wasn't ready to leave me. He was bawling his eyes out. You chuckled, seeing the scowl on his face. He clasped your hands in his. Shall we leave, princess? Yes. You both turned around and walked towards the exit, towards a bright future ahead, towards a life of togetherness for forever. This time, without any complications, without any doubt or uncertainty. Though it started in the worst way possible, but a happy ending is what everyone waits for. Two different persons with two different personalities and different perspectives towards life get in a bond of forever togetherness with a tint of love. It started with you and me, but it ended with us.